Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're back in War Thunder, and it's time to have a look at the north side of Maginot Line. The last time we looked at Maginot Line, we looked at the south side, and basically the ways that I personally go, and, you know, a few little tips to help you out. On this side, we're going to do exactly the same. So, the first thing for me to talk about is the same fact that I said last time. I really don't like fighting in the town over there. But I will go through, if I need to go to the town, where to go to. Let's say it's a single point map or something like that. But right now what I'm doing is my general positioning, which is what I will do on every 3 point time I get on Maginot. So first of all, we crest this hill, make sure we get over here. Now if you're in a very slow tank, this really isn't going to help, and the best thing, or the better thing you can do is instead just go like this. Along this line, staying behind the hills. You can see a road here, which you should follow and then stay low to the ground. But if you're in something nippy or something which is a medium tank, going this way is the best. The only thing you have to watch out for is people firing from that hill there, and people firing from the positions over here. Now, if you're in a scout tank like I am right now, I'm in the 24 Chaffee TL. What you can do is scout people while you're going along here. But just make sure you have a keen eye on this ridgeline, because by now people have figured out how far it is from there to here, meaning that they will hit you at a decent rate. So going lower, maybe into this divot here and then up, is something you can definitely do, but a lot of the times I just try and chance it and just get across here as quick as possible. A few of my squad mates actually sit in the little divot which is sat over there. I know a few people who sit here, but I like to play the much more cautious approach, especially if I'm in a medium or I am in a light tank. Now, you don't need a lot of gun depression for this place, which is kind of nice. And it's pretty much just up here as we go. So if we get to the position, pretty much you have this ridge head here. And as I said before, I really like fighting on this side. I really dislike fighting on the other side. So sitting at this ridge line, what you can do with your scout, or, you know, if you don't have a scout, if you have a medium tank, you can use this ridgeline and just keep popping up and down. So setting up just as far as you need to, taking the shot, moving back, using binos to see where it went. If it went short, a little bit higher, and only pop out when you have the shot, move back, and it's very easy just to make sure that you can just see over and then just move back. If you're in a scout tank, you don't have to show any of your tank at all. You can just sit in a position like this, which is away from everything, and you can just scout the whole line that you can see here. You can scout the hill, you can scout the areas where the little divots where people like to come up on the 8 line. You can scout everything, and then from this position as well, you have a nice shot on the guys trying to push into B. So here you go, there you see the boxes and pillboxes, so if you get here quickly, you can actually scout or shoot anybody who's trying to go into B from this position here. Now just understand that that means they can shoot you, so if you are focused on this hill where there'll be at least 1 or 2 people, and also this divot here where a lot of people sit, or even somebody who's rushed A. One of the things you just have to realize is just make sure to keep looking over here, because there will be somebody who will sit either there, or there, and they will shoot you in this position. So you just have to be careful of that, just be cautious of it, and that means you'll have to sit in a position like this, and you'll be able to still shoot the hills. Just make sure you pop in and out. Don't stay stationary for too long, even in this position, just because it's open from 2 sides. So after about 5 minutes, once you've played this hill and maybe the guys on this hill have moved back, or you've done damage to them, or B's been taken by your side or the enemies, what I like to do is around about the 5 to 7 minute mark, depending on how many enemies I've seen over there. If I've seen quite a lot, then what I'll do is I'll probably do this a little bit later, but if I don't see a lot, I'll do this a little bit earlier, so let's say 3 or 4 minutes. Normally you'll have an ally who is sat around this place, holding the 8 line, and normally around about there or just behind this hill. If he dies and you're sat in this position here, what you have to do is move very quickly over here. And the reason for that is because now you know there's a ton of tanks coming down the 8 line, or at least 1 tank, which is still deadly to your whole team. I showed in the video where we looked at the southern point on Maginot and how to play it, how getting into this position here is incredibly key from the southern side, and if you get to it you can pretty much lock down the whole of the hill, and from there you can lock down one of the respawn points just by yourself. So if you're on the northern side and you're in something like a Chaffee or a medium tank or even a heavy, if you've been able to get over here like a Tiger 2H, your job is to now hold this 8 line after you've taken some pot shots at guys over there. Now there are many divots and stuff like that you can take. There's one which we just went over, there's one slightly here, there's one slightly in front, and you can use these all to your advantage to make sure that you get the first shot off. And if you don't see anybody in front of you, you just keep moving forward. Now the clever thing to do here is, remember, the last time any enemy saw you was here, right? Now, if that's the case, that they didn't see you coming down here, or they didn't see you moving down the 8 line, then there's no point in you popping up. You shouldn't pop up at all and basically give yourself the element of surprise. So the only main issue like going down here is obviously this area, but obviously check it before you move up. There's normally a tank which is kind of sat over there, and they're normally focused on looking at A or looking at B, so normally you can get right up to them and attack them. But once again, sitting down low to the hill, no point in cressing the hill here or anything like that, because otherwise what will happen is you will get shot from B, or you will get shot from places like G7 and F6. So it's much better just to stay low and be as quick as possible and get down here. Make sure that if you run into someone, use the divots to take them out. And the place where you pop up is really up to you. So the way that I see it is, if we've lost A and lost B, you want to try and pop up as quick as possible to try and make sure that you can turn the tide of a battle before it really starts snowballing out of control. Because at this point in the battle, while you get here, it's around about maybe 5 to 7 to 10 minutes, and obviously a lot of the fighting is already done in the battle. So you can pop up here, and the reason to pop up here is you get a good shot on this hill. It's a very close shot, so taking stuff out is not that hard to do. You also get some lookings on the backside of A that you can take out, and also a clear line to past B. Now the reason why this is important at the end of the day is because if the enemy has taken B, they will have pushed past it, and you have to take shots of them over here to make sure that you can take them out. Now, if your side has pushed through, you don't really have to worry about it. You can focus on this area here, and also on A, but once again, if your side has taken A, then you can just focus on this ridge line, focus on this area here. Now, let's say you're not under as much pressure when it comes to the map and what's going on. Maybe the whole enemy's gone to C, but you've secured B and A. You can just keep pushing this and make sure nobody sees you, stay low to the ground, you know, go a bit further down here instead of where I'm going, and be able just to keep staying low so the enemy doesn't know where you are, and pop up when, when you can and absolutely annihilate the enemy. But all this time you just have to make sure that nobody's going down this way, and if somebody is going down this way, you're obviously going to have to deal with them. So pushing this way, we are getting up to the ridge where you find a lot of people sat at, and from this position here in these divots you can pretty much just pick one, and the one that you pick you can sit behind and shoot the guys on this hill. Now what you want to do is, if there's nobody on the hill, because at this point we're looking at the 12-minute mark, a lot of people will have either moved off the hill or died by being over aggressive. What you want to do is just kind of sit on the hill. So I'll show you the position to take. On this side, of course. And at this point, you can use your place or your position to be able to annihilate anything that's moving to A or B, and also to mark anything if you're in a scout tank, which is always useful. This map is not really designed for heavies; it's much more a medium or light map. So therefore, speed is even more key. So that's why I say take stuff like the Chaffee. Take faster vehicles, maybe even scouts. So from this position, you can actually just sit here, like here, and be able to scout everything that's coming over. You can even use your camera to do this, and just wait for somebody to look that way or look that way. You can pop over the hill and you can shoot them. Now this is technically spawn camping, and that's completely fine in my book, because the game is designed with it in mind, so don't ever feel bad for doing it. But just understand, this is the final position that you're looking for from the right hand side. So we're pretty much going across to the hill here, stay here for about 5 minutes, see what's going on at B and A, take the 8 line. If you've lost A and B, scoop up here, be able to shoot B and A, and then retake A, and then move to here. And then you can lock down one of the enemy spawns by yourself. You also have a nice position where, let's say you're getting shot from this side, you have a nice little ridge here that you can sit behind too and be able to counterfire without many issues. So yeah, that's pretty much how you play, or how I normally play the north side of the map. There is other ways of doing it as well, and we're going to have a look at them here. There is a few areas which I have definitely not been as successful at, but if the moment's call, like let's say all of my team's gone to the right side, and I need to, you know, actually do something in the battle, then I'll go these ways to be able to, you know, be able to actually do something. So the first one is pretty much going towards C. I don't like going towards B in realistic. In arcade, I don't really mind it. What I used to do in realistic is just charge B like a madman, take it, and then hold the center, and that would cut off pretty much everything that's going from either side. The issue with doing that nowadays is people have figured out that if you just take C, you can just roll on B after a little while, and everybody on B is going to die, or they've pushed past B. So there's not really a lot of winning in that scenario if you decide just to gun it straight for B. So instead, what I've been doing is moving around the, I suppose you'd call it the right side of C from the north side, and pretty much just holding that area. So there is a little few divots that you can sit in, and just understand this isn't my preferred position. The other way I went over there is definitely my preferred position, but this is one that I would, you know, the secondary one if required. So the first thing is, if you're in a slower tank, the best place to hold up is here. So you can get hull down here, you can shoot at the corner where you'll find a lot of people sit at. You can also shoot people who overextend through the city themselves. You also, if you don't have any allies over here, you can hide yourself from these guys over here and just look down this road. Now you can either look down this road or you can look down this road, but I would prefer to say this road, especially if C is where it is and not further into the town. The reason why you take this is because in order for them to spawn camp, they have to do either one of two things. They have to push through the town, or they have to push through the outer side. Now, if they want to push through the outer side, they have to, first of all, get across the river, and you'll be able to see them coming from this position. As I said, you can get in a nice low-down hull position here, looking over there, and that pretty much means that you can't be seen from over here. Now, if you're against leopards, generally what leopards will do, and also Hyaters, such as MBTs and Abrams, is they'll just... generally, this is kind of a rule for most maps. What they'll do is they'll just go around the side of the map and flank the enemy's positions, and then sit in the enemy spawns. Now, on this map, what they like to do is flank around the whole map and go and sit here, because there's a nice little defilade they can sit in. And yeah, you've got to basically stop that from happening on this side. And the way you do it is sit in a position like this, shoot down here, or shoot over here, depending on where they're coming from, or shoot over here, as I said, depending on where they're coming from. Because you can get shots on pretty much every position in a really nice way. Now, as I said, I don't really like going through the town. I'm sure there is another content creator who will show you how to fight in the town. But for me, whenever I go in there, it's just, I always go in too fast, I don't have the patience for it, and what happens is I get stuck between buildings, I fire once, maybe I kill somebody, but then there's 2 or 3 who are going to kill me. Like, there's no way that I can trade massively compared to what I can in other areas. So instead, if you have a quicker tank, because remember, if you have a slow tank, that's where you sit. Because you'll not get to this position, that position. But if you have a quicker tank, such as this, or the Hellcat, or the Chaffee, or anything with a little bit of speed on it, what you do is you set yourself up on this corner here. And the reason you do this is because the point is right here. If a lot of enemies push the point, you can just be sneaky, go around the flank, attack the secondary people coming in, like the quicker people, or you can annihilate the people who are coming out and you can get behind them. So you sit here. Now the first thing you must realize when you sit here is, first of all, look down this road. If anybody's down that road, you have to kill them, and hoping that there isn't somebody down that road, because normally if you kill somebody near C, somebody will realize. But what you have to do is you do have to kill them, because if you don't, they're going to kill you. Pretty much as simple as that. Goodbye house. Moving on to after, let's say there's nobody here, or let's say you've dispatched them, what you have to do is set yourself up on this corner. Now, setting yourself up on this corner, there's two things you have to realize. A lot of the times when I've actually played this map, there's been somebody sat, and I didn't even know you could do this, but there's been somebody sat, like, over here, on this little road, and there is, like a sharp decline when it goes into the water. We'll go over there and I'll show you. But they'll sit there behind it, and they'll pop up every once in a while, especially when you push up and you're looking around here. So the first thing you've got to do is wait and just see if anybody is behind that little dip over there. And if they are, you're going to have to wait for them and annihilate them. Being patient in this position, even though it's an aggressive position, will pay off. Just like being aggressive in this will also pay off depending on the situation. So obviously, if you're here, if there's nobody there, or you've dealt with them, if there's nobody over here, what you do is you slowly move around here. Make sure that there's nobody in the line of your fire. Using your camera, going around, seeing if anybody's back. If nobody's back, what you do is just move around, move around, move around. Attack anybody, and make sure to kill them. Then if you can't kill them, or if you see nobody, then you double back onto C, either take C, or basically get behind the enemy and attack them, and that's how you play the left side of the map. From this position, what I like to do is push towards the bunker over there and just sit behind it, wait for people to come across, or if the enemy has pushed B, then I go to B from this side and attack everybody who has pushed past B in this scenario, in this place here, if they've taken it by force. Now if we look over here, I'll show you what I mean by like the dips in the land, which people will sit behind. Even if there is no point here, I've still found people sit behind these dips, and I have no idea what why they do it. I think they do it because what they're going to do is they want to push past to go spawn camp on that hill I showed before, but they haven't, they're not confident enough just to push through it. Oh god. So instead what they do is they wait in a position like this, and I'm not even kidding. They'll sit in a position like this, look over, see somebody come around the corner, get the gun up, fire, and move back. Can you please stop sliding? Oh, we're just going to slide now, are we? Alright then. Yeah, but that's basically what they do. From that position, and you know, that's completely fine if they want to do that, but all along this riverbank they can do that. So just to let you know, that is something that can happen. If you're in a heavy tank, the only real place that you can go with any effectiveness is B. The only heavy tanks I like to play on this map are from both sides, are quicker ones, so stuff like the 75 Jumbo, the KV-220. These things I use to push B, and then just go and annihilate everything around it. And if I can't annihilate everything around it, then I don't take the heavy tank. Simple as that. But yeah, heavy tank with a little bit of speed is okay. Just make sure to secure your flanks at the end of the day. But yeah, the first point of call is taking the right spawn, going towards A. The second point of call is going to that position near C, but just understand you have to check a hell of a lot more corners on the C1 instead of the A1, where you are in control of what can see you and what you can see. At B, it's a bit more of a clusterfuck. It's pretty much get in there, get out, and see what happens. And yeah, you can do that. Generally, I like just playing a little bit more defensive than that, though, even on these larger maps. But yeah, that's pretty much looking at the northern side. If you want to have a look at the southern side I did about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's definitely worth a look. If I'm talking about which side do I prefer the south side, just because of that 8 line. I can go along it without anybody knowing that I'm there, meaning that they don't even know that I've spawned or anything like that. So I can just go down there, attack them, and be in their spawn before they've even realized that I am in the battle. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.